automatically cut me off. You know, it was my, what do they say to people when they're at the bar and they've had their limit? You've had your limit. That was my limit. And so now I'm going to, I've put on the colors. I have kind of blended them out, we thinking. I am going to use a little bit more of the Urban Decay color over here on the Bobbi Brown side. For those of you who have not been following along in the other videos, I have used a little bit of 2 different palettes on both of my eyes. And I just really wanted to see, did it make any real difference? And it did. So I am going to come back and do a little bit of sparklage over there. This was my Bobbi Brown side and it needed it. And also I'm going to come down by the nose with that. And on the outer corner a little, because it just helps blend when you start blending. And I think that's pretty evened up, actually. Yeah. I don't remember. Oh, well. Yeah, now I know what it was. The Urban Decay one had a little bit more pink tones. So we were going to add that over here. That's what. It was a little more pigmented. We'll just even them both out. Okay. All right. Oh, I know what the other thing was. We used Dirty Sweet from the, I'm going to go ahead and close up this Bobbi Brown palette, which again, it also doesn't even have a name. It was just a nice quad, which I'll show you again, one last view. I don't know why it doesn't have a name on it, but it doesn't. I'm looking at it, just an eye palette, and it has the 4 colors: ivory, chiffon, seashell pink, and rich espresso, but it doesn't have, like, you know, like a number or a name that I see. It doesn't. Whereas this is pretty recognizable. Naked Smoky palette. Okay. What was I doing? Oh, we're adding back this color right here, this Dirty Sweet. I'm going to add a little bit more of that color. It's more like a gold shimmer, and we're going to put that on the eyelid, right in the center. Why in the center? Because that's where the most color picks up, as far as when you look. And as far as a shimmer. So if you're going to put a shimmer on, just dead center is the bit place. All right, now I'm going to do a little bit of blending, bling, ding, ding, ding. And for on the eyelid, I'm using this tapered blending brush. It's an E35 from Sigma Beauty, and I'm just going to dust the back end back there. You don't want to overblend colors because it will give it a muddy look and just ruin the whole point of what you did. But I'm just kind of blending these ends where I just kind of, you want to make sure it doesn't, you don't see the lines. And then another thing you can do, in this one I'm using my medium angled shading brush, which normally I use for putting on highlighter. It's like just an angled, looks like a blush brush. It's an angled brush. This is an E70. I'm going to use that just to blend this coloring right here just a little bit. Again, so you don't see a lot of lines. Just don't want a lot of lines there. There we go. So I don't want to overblend. And what I used to do with the extra is come down on this area like that. But really, the Chubby Stick does a pretty good job of that. So maybe I'll do the sides of my nose, because what it is you get a little bit of the brown tone when you're blending on your brush. So let's blend one more time. Just kind of blended that out. There. So that's that. Goodbye. No, just kidding. Now I'm going to, I had a little bit of liner on there, but now I guess I'm going to define it a little more because we went over it. And y'all know my favorite liner, even though I've really been enjoying, what did I just do with it? There it is. This Physicians Formula Kohl, Kajal, and Liquid Liner Duo. This was the trio set that was 3 different colors. But I really like that it's got the crayon on one end and the liner on the other, so it's great to keep in your purse. But my favorite eyeliner pen is the DHC Liquid Liner EX Perfect Pro. And I love this one because the nib is so pointed and little. It just really looks very, that wouldn't be the time to talk. Nice. Looks very nice. I like it. And if you'll notice, I start on the end and then come back to it. Start on the, and then you just keep going towards the middle. And I don't come all the way in necessarily. I guess a little bit. Yeah. Yeah. And make sure you get way down to the root right here on the edge. And that's where you may even make it, stink, into a little, what do you call it? It almost looks like a triangle to me. That's where you kind of bring together the look of the little wing. And without even going back in there, I bet I can do my other wing. Hold on. And come down to it, go back out to it. There we go. We'll come back to it, come back to it. Just a little bit in. I don't really like to get much in front of the lash line with liner. I had a little bit of a bump on my lid. Can you see what I'm doing? Yeah, now you're wondering, what are you doing over there? I decided to go a little more up on this side. There. That looks a lot more evened out, doesn't it? Hold on, that's got to be a little... There. Okay. It's hard to do liner. That's why I don't usually come all the way in like that. But, you know, it's the weekend, so I don't know. Did I just even that up or not? Actually, I think this one's a little... See, liner's hard, y'all. That's not exactly high enough. There. That one little... So that's why that tip being so small is so important. Okay. Now what? Lashes. Okay. I do like to make sure my eyeliner's done. So we are now. I always place the eyelash curler on the lid and then kind of push it back a little bit, and the eyelashes just come right up, and that's when you close it down. That's when you clamp it down right on top of it. That's when you get it. So as you can see, I also let out a little bit, and then I clamp it back down and do it in the direction of the actual socket instead of just straight up, so that you have a double crimp. You have one that kind of bends them straight up and one that bends them back. Yep. And now I'm going to do over here. See how, I want you to look again. See how I place it on the lid, and look how the lashes pop straight up, and that's when you crimp them. You catch them right then. And you just kind of, sometimes I pulsate just a little bit with my fingers, just kind of like bounce it a little bit. Don't open it, just kind of bounce, just kind of pushing it. See how I'm kind of doing that? Right now they're just straight up. They're getting bent straight up. Now I'm going to let out a little bit. See how I do that? And then do it more back. And that kind of curls the end. So it kind of changes it from a straight up L to a little curl of a C. And that's what you want to do. And I think that's enough. Alright. I'm trying a new mascara right in front of you. And this is Wonder Lash by Rimmel. And it has argan oil in the waterproof mascara, and it has a really good brush from what I could tell. Very, very fine, kind of the spiky kind, not the spiral spoolie brush, but the, and I'm trying to get it really well loaded since this is my first time. Wow, look how gooey that is. I wonder if that's a good thing or a bad thing. But look, oh, look how the end is like a knob. So I don't know if that's good though, to get the ends. Let's just see. If it does, make it easy. It's very gooey. Oh my gosh, look how gooey it is, y'all. Alright, I probably should be closer for this, but here goes nothing. This is very thin. I'm surprised. It may be because the teeth on the spoolie brush is, you know, it's that plastic, but they're very fine. So it's not putting a whole lot of product down. When you have thicker, that's what gives you the volume look. It puts more product down. Meaning the thicker the shaft of the little teeth of this. Okay, so I'm going to do this little outer. Wow, it really is gooey. That must be the argan oil. But that would be so healthy for you. Gosh, it looks like I haven't even done anything, y'all. I'm not crazy about this. Right off the bat. It's just not putting down much product at all. Now, maybe that's because it's brand new. Y'all know when you first use a mascara, it's not as good as after you've used it a few days. So we're going to give it the benefit of the doubt. But I feel like the waterproof part of this is being destroyed by the oil side of the argan oil. I just don't see a lot of product even on the wand. I mean, I do on the end. Look at that. Ew. It's almost like, wow. Truly gooey. Did you see that? It's super gooey. Maybe that's what's going to make it look so good on maybe coat 2 or something. So let's tip out the lash ends, the end of your lashes. Real good. Just go back and forth across the tips. Try not to hit your lid when you do that. I do that sometime. And then you start from the outermost part and then go in. And anyway, I'm trying to make sure that I get some coverage on this, but do you guys see? It's just not good coverage at all. It's like it's, I really do think that these bristles are so long that they, if you like something that really separate, like you have really thick lashes and you need something to really separate, this would probably be really good for you, and that's not typical of this style of brush. So that's, I'm really surprised actually. Oh, can you see what I'm doing? I'm sorry. Yeah, it's almost nothing's getting on my lash. And I think it has a lot to do with the